All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball. Today, we're going to combine a lot of stuff, the draft grades, what we know about teams, and we're going to make a way too early power ranking. Something fun. It is a little early, so don't knock me. Number 32, we got the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. It's nothing personal, but I had to pick a worse team going into the year, and for a few reasons. Number one, we know Kyler's not going to be there all year, and not having a starting quarterback, that's a big deal. But more importantly than that, I think for me, it just comes down to the fact that the Cardinals are not really elite anywhere. Not even just that. They don't really have necessarily tons of elite talent at all in any position. We're not sure if Budda Baker's still going to be here. Not sure if he's going to end up getting traded. What's going to happen with that? Young squad. Brought in a lot of good young talent from the draft. That is not instantly developed. That will take time. There's just no easy way to say it. The Cardinals are just a scrapped roster. Number 31, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Feels weird having them here. You know, the Colts aren't normally this far back in any power rankings. We're not used to it. Kind of very similar to the Cardinals. For me, it just comes down to the fact that the Colts don't really have a lot of any elite groups per se. Regardless, with Anthony Richardson, got such a high ceiling. But the thing about that goes hand in hand now. The immediate future is going to be a little bit rough. There's going to be, growing pains. There's going to be moments like that. This power ranking, don't let it align with the future of the Colts. This isn't anything about the future. This is just this year. Like the Colts' future, but right now, things might be a little bit rough. At number 30 here, we got the Houston Texans. When I first started making this, I thought the Texans were going to find themselves at 31, 32. The thing is that swayed the Texans above the last two teams for me. They made a lot of moves this offseason, added some good young veterans, help out CJ Stroud, and I think that's the main thing. Obviously, this year, I don't think the Texans are going to do anything special, but I think the floor is at least there. You give CJ Stroud a really good cast of just veteran guys. But I think that the floor for the Texans would be about like a 5-6 win team, which I feel like is a higher floor than the other teams that I had. All right, at number 29, I got the Tennessee Titans. The more I think about it, maybe I got them a little bit low here, but I just can't undersell the fact that they're regressing. Tannehill's getting old. A few things about the QB situation are a little iffy. The offense itself is just iffy at this point. Defensive unit, though, still got a good defense. So I think that was kind of my thing, is that I couldn't put them super low because of that. Kind of want to move them back up a little bit because, Vrabel's going to be getting the boys going. We know they got good pedigree. The roster's just not that strong. We're going to have them here at 29. At number 28, I got the Chicago Bears. Good young team, bright future. Felt like the right spot for them. Justin Fields is going to make a big jump this year. Some good young guys in the defense going to make a big jump as well. I don't expect them to win more than 7-8 games, but a jump from last year. Keep the confidence growing. Keep the regime moving forward. I think this will be a good year for the Chicago Bears all in all. Number 27, I have the Los Angeles Rams. And I know you're watching this, you're saying, how do you have the Rams ahead of some other teams you just listed? And it just comes down to this for me. I can't put the team just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, the future Hall of Fame coach, potential future Hall of Fame quarterback, future first ballot Hall of Fame D lineman. The Rams just have a lot of things that makes it hard to say that they're going to be one of the worst teams, even though I know they are. But again, they got the pedigree. So with that said, I can't put them as low as the other teams, even though I also do understand they could very well have a worse year than them. Number 26, I got the Green Bay Packers. What I was saying about the Rams, where it's how could you have the Packers ahead of some of these other teams that you had, below them? And it's just the same thing, same exact concept. Comes down to pedigree of the franchise, the decisions that the franchise makes, even though right now we might not understand them. I'm just a Jordan Love truther. Let it be on the record. It's been on the record for a while. Let it be refreshed on the record. I think he's going to have a really good career. I think he's going to step in and surprise a lot of people. Obviously, the Packers still have a lot of needs to fill. Offense still has some work to do, obviously. I think the Packers are not as terrible as some people think. All right, number 25, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Feels like kind of a weird spot to have them. Initially, I did think they were going to be lower on my list, but then, you start to think, okay, the elite D-line group, good D-backs all around, a couple good O-linemen, you have an elite receiving core, and everything else is a little bit weird. When you combine in the floor of the trenches being well built, the Bucs are really bad at areas that they're really bad, but they're also really good in areas that they're really good. I couldn't put them any lower than 25. It just wouldn't feel right. All right, at number 24, I got the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are one of those teams where you could definitely argue to have them higher or lower. Falcons are supposed to make that jump this year, but I'm not all the way sold on it. The Falcons have, on the offensive side of the ball, the trenches are stacked, good receiving core, love Kyle Pitts, your tight end. The quarterback situations where things get a little bit dicey. Probably isn't going to be solved this year, but something you put on the back burner, worry about next year, year after that. Now, if you're a Falcons fan, you're telling me that I'm wrong. You love Desmond Ridder. Defensive side of the ball, you got some strength, definitely have some weaknesses. All in all, I feel like 24 is a good spot for the Falcons. Number 23, I got the Washington Commanders. This very much depends on how well Sam Howell plays this year. They're a weird roster. They got trenches that are built really well, offensive trenches that are all right, very solid / good receiving core. They got a good D-back core. The Commanders are built to win. If you asked me at the beginning last year who the Commander starter was going to be, I would have not told you it was going to be Sam Howell, but here we are. So it's going to be an interesting situation to monitor. How are the Commanders going to do? I certainly don't know. Number 22, I got the Carolina Panthers. Just a real young squad, but I'm leaning towards that they'll make a big jump. Think on the defensive side of the ball, young guys that are ready to make a real big leap. Got J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns, a lot of good names on there. It's about the other guys making that leap. Then on the offensive side of the ball, you got real solid trenches, solid young receiving core. And then you got Bryce Young stepping in. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Bryce is going to have a real good rookie year, as I've been saying. I think this will be the start of the Panthers headed in the right trajectory. Number 21, I got the New England Patriots. Great defensive unit. Lots of good names in the defense. Issue comes in on the offensive side of the ball. Feels very mid. Obviously, you got a real good trenches group. Just the QB situation, receiving core situation. I love Ramondre Stevenson, though. Shoutouts to the running back room. Belichick gives you so much, but I don't know how I feel about this roster. I feel like I see the wild card as their ceiling. So with all that said, I feel like I couldn't push them past 21. Number 20, I have the Denver Broncos. Because we know how bad the Broncos were last year. But they get my boy Sean Payton in the door. I think he's going to make a humongous change. But the roster was already really good to begin with. The roster was already solid. We thought last year at the beginning of the year, Broncos would be an 11, 12, even maybe say 13-win team. Obviously, we were way off because everything went down. I feel like they got a really high ceiling. But again, we know the floor of the team itself is low. It can be. I couldn't push them any higher than 20, but they definitely could finish higher than that come the end of the season. Number 19, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Raiders are a team where they could definitely finish lower than this come the end of the year, but I feel like right now I'm pretty comfortable with them right here. Offensive side of the ball, I feel like you're not really worried too much. This team's going to put up points. This team's going to be able to compete on offense. What I worry about a lot is definitely the defensive side of the ball. There's just not really a lot of star power besides Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones last year wasn't up to par anyway. A lot lacking on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, the drafts can help out a little bit, but like I was saying before, it doesn't immediately help. I think there's going to be a lot of growing pains this year for the Raiders on the defense. It feels like the Raiders are going to have to win games with their offense, and it's hard to be a great team when you're one side of the ball is holding you back. I feel like I couldn't put them any lower than 19. Raiders could definitely finish lower than here come end of the year. Number 18, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when I say the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially right now, what comes to my mind is just a rock solid unit. They got some star power on this roster too. If I'm not mistaken. I know you guys got TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. Assigning this last offseason that not a lot of people talked about. You get Patrick Peterson in, veteran, future Hall of Fame guy, help out the young DBs. This season, though, is going to hinge very heavily on how much of a development Kenny Pickett makes. Kenny Pickett's either going to make a huge jump, everyone's going to say this is our guy and we're rolling, or he's not going to make much of a jump or even regress, and there's going to be no doubt. The Steelers are going to have to get a new QB, and that will just be the discussion this offseason. Will be very interesting to see what direction that heads in. All right, at number 17, we got the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns have a real good roster. We just need to see them make it work. It's been what we've been saying about the Browns for a while now, you know? Browns are so stacked. The Browns are finally getting together. They did finally get over that hump. You know, they got back to playoffs, win a playoff game. That's cool. But now let's see them take it to the next level. Let's see them really push far with this roster. That's what Browns fans expect. Nobody's going to admit it, but I'll admit it. I wouldn't mind seeing the Browns make a run. Been dead so long. It'd be kind of fun. But that's what the Browns need to do. But I didn't put them higher than 17, because I need to see them do something first. Show me they can do something, make that run. That's what I want to see from the Browns. The Minnesota Vikings are a weird team. I got them right here at number 16. Last year, the Vikings overperformed a lot, but they won a lot of games by minimum points, you know, one-score games. It's just not sustainable long-term. I don't think the Vikings are as good as the record was last year. So they're still a good roster, but again, you got Kirk Cousins leading the boys. I don't see Kirk being the guy to push the needle, and that's kind of what hinges me where I can't really push them any farther up. So I got to leave the Vikings right here in the middle of the pack. Number 15, I got the New Orleans Saints. I like where we're at. I think that the Saints are a good roster, good trenches, good secondary, good line group, solid receiving core, real nice running back room. But similar to what I just said about the Vikings, it is hard for me to see Derek Carr hoisting Lombardi. Obviously, I want to see that, but it's the same thing as Kirk Cousins, where it's just hard to envision. Is he going to be the guy to lead us to the promised land? I certainly don't know. I hope so. It just feels a little bit hard to push them above teams that have that upper echelon guy leading the squad. All right, so you're going to notice kind of a theme starting to develop here. I have the Seahawks here at 14. The theme is Ross ready to compete, but they just don't have the for sure guy who could lead you to the Lombardi. Same kind of situation with Geno Smith. How do you feel about Geno Smith come playoff time? How do you feel about him in the conference finals, Super Bowl? You got a good roster. Is the guy who's leading you the guy who's going to take you to the promised land? It certainly is hard to see. So yeah, Seahawks right here at 14. Number 13 here, I got the New York Giants. Love Dable. Good unit, good trenches, both sides of the ball. Receiving core, probably the biggest question mark of the team. You know, good secondary, good linebacking core. The Giants got a lot of good things, man. The theme I was talking about, you know, is Daniel Jones the guy? Is he the guy who's going to lead you to the Lombardi? Hard to see. I just couldn't push the Giants above 13. All right, at number 12, we have the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't think any team was more contingent upon their leap or fall in these rankings based upon having their starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Having him back, huge boost. Ravens had a good, strong roster. You had Lamar back, love it. Why did I have the Ravens behind some of these other teams? I need to see Lamar win a playoff game first. It's very hard for me to see a situation where the guy goes from losing the first couple playoff games to then their next playoff run, they just blow by everyone and go win the Lombardi. It's not that Lamar's not going to be the guy. It's just that situation is a little hard to see. I like exactly where the Ravens are at right here. Number 11, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers roster, honestly, might not be all the way up to par with the last 2 or 3 teams that I had on the rankings. However, they do have Justin Herbert. And we know, quarterback, most important part of any roster. He's in that ultra upper end slot category. It provides you a lot, and it pushes you farther down the rankings. The quarterbacks win you games, man. Got Justin Herbert. It just makes the floor for your team so much higher. Great offense. Defense, still shaky, man. Still shaky, but they got some good players on that defense. Future Hall of Fame players. I know you guys are definitely looking for JC Jackson to make a jump again this year. Rough year last year. Hopefully he can bounce back, play up to that contract. Chargers, great roster. Great season ahead, most likely. Into the top 10 we go. And this is a big surprise. You know, in recent memory, there hasn't been a lot of times the Jaguars have gotten into the top 10. Here we are, though, man. Duval, Jags, top 10. Let's go. In terms of roster, last 2, 3, 4 teams, maybe better roster. QB situation, though, same concept. You got the guy, one of the upper echelon guys, pushes you far, man. Lots of just good young talent on this team. Lots of guys who have a chance to make a big leap this year. That already made a leap last year. You're looking for Trayvon Walker to make a big leap. Anton Harrison to come in, play good right tackle right away. This team's got a high ceiling right away. We saw the Jags go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, man. They're not that far away. And this draft class was a great class. A lot of people might not have the Jags top 10 right now, but for me, it's no hesitation. I think the Jags got a great year incoming. Into the single digits, baby. We got the Detroit Lions. At number 9 just sounds crazy, but here we are. Taking a break from the recent theme where I was saying of teams where the rosters weren't as dominant, but then they got that upper echelon quarterback that pushes them higher. Lions are in that opposite. Not that I don't like Jared Goff. Jared Goff played great last year. If he can play great again, the Lions floor is so high, even though he's not this upper echelon quarterback. Got Jack Campbell, Brian Branch coming in to help the defense out. Obviously, the defense is a little bit shaky, rough unit, but I think they got a big jump to make this year. And then on offense, you got a great receiving core, great trenches. The Lions are just a well-built team. Love Dan Campbell as well. Lions got a great year ahead of them. Number 8, we have the New York Jets. The Jets are just the quarterback away. Well, now they're not just the quarterback away. They got Aaron Rodgers. This squad is absolutely stacked. You're probably asking yourself, squad's absolutely stacked. They got the future first ballot Hall of Fame guy. What's wrong then? Why are they not in the top 5? Why are they not top 3? What's going on? I just haven't had a chance to see it in action yet. Can certainly see it happening. I just can't put you ahead of the teams that I've already seen do it. I do think the Jets are going to have a great year. I think they got a great unit, great defense, great offense, great receiving core, young receiving core. Now it's just a matter of making it go together. Number 7, we got the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are just an electric roster, man. Young, fast, fun. I think we're to the point where the Dolphins really are only missing maybe a couple pieces. Like maybe you'd prefer a new right tackle, a new left guard. Minus that, it's kind of like the Dolphins are stacked. Just like I just had said about the Jets, I know the Dolphins can do really good this year. I know the Dolphins ceiling is so high. We saw it for a short period of time there last year, then the wheels fell off when Tua started to get injured. If they can stay healthy, stay consistent, I don't think the wheels are falling off this year. Again, I just need to see them do it now. There's no doubt Dolphins could be a top 5 team at the end of the year. Absolutely no doubt. Here at number 6, we got the San Francisco 49ers. There's just no question why they're here. We know that Niners right there on the brink of being a top 5 team or top 5 team, depending on who you are, obviously. But regardless, great roster, great pedigree. Kyle Shanahan's going to make the offense go. Defense still absolutely stacked. There's no concerns about the defense. I think if anything, when you look at this roster, the only thing that keeps them from being a top 5 team is the interior O-line. Interior O-line, potentially a little bit shaky this year. You got some, plug-in pieces, Feliciano and the boys. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But other than that, the Niners roster is absolutely loaded. If Brock Purdy comes back, plays how he did last year, there's no doubt the Niners will be competing for the Super Bowl again. On to number 5, the Buffalo Bills. Let me just preface this by saying this. I think Josh Allen is holding the Bills in the top 5 all by himself at this point. I do think the Bills have a real good roster. There are some things, though, on the roster that are getting a little bit shaky. The O-line minus Deion Dawkins, shaky. The receiving core minus Stephon Diggs, shaky. Love Dalton Kincaid coming in this year, though. I think James Cook has a big jump to make. I don't worry about the offense necessarily a ton, but like I said, there are certainly holes, and it's a thing whether you like it or not. And then on defense, your 2 outside linebackers definitely could be better. It's not the end of the world. A lot of rotational guys. The defense is definitely what scares you. I do see the Bills as being a team that's going to get to the second, third round of the playoffs. There are certainly holes in the roster. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs connection, the allure of the Bills right now. I'm sorry, I just couldn't put them out the top 5. Number 4, we got the Dallas Cowboys. We all know it, man. There's no doubt. Cowboys are absolutely stacked. What does it come down to, though? And every fan, they'll tell you the same thing. Cowboys actually need to show us, man. That's it. We're all just waiting for the Cowboys to actually make a run. It's been a long, long time since they did. I haven't even been alive to watch a deep playoff Cowboys run. The offense is absolutely loaded. Dak Prescott, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Tony Pollard, offensive line cooking. Defense is real nice, real solid, too. You got a bunch of amazing pieces. You got Michael Parsons leading the defense. Right now, all they are stacked. They don't have the recent pedigree to show me they're going to make that run. That's all it comes down to. I certainly know they're built for it. I don't think this is too much of a surprise to anybody. The one team that's really competing with the Chiefs on a consistent basis right now, they give all the other AFC teams fits. Joe Burrow leading behind them. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, just good old line group. You got some great pieces on the defense. Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard. The Bengals are a stacked team. Great pedigree. They make a run every playoff. The Bengals have been competing at a high level, and they will continue to. Joe Burrow behind center. You guys drafted someone that's going to put you in a position to compete for the next 10, 20 years, and it's exactly what he's doing. On to number 2. Who's it going to be? Because you know it's going to be one of the 2 Super Bowl teams. We got to go Eagles first, man. Eagles fans, don't fret. Don't be upset. Originally, post-free agency, I saw the Eagles falling out the top 5, maybe 6, 7 range. But then the draft class happened, man. The Andre Swift trade happened. And Howie just stays cooking. How many times am I going to say this? Howie's the best GM in the league right now, man. The squad is absolutely stacked. They really didn't miss a lot of beats. They got Jalen Hurts on a fantastic contract. O-line is just still fantastic. D-line is still fantastic. The D-back core is still rock solid. Receiving core is still rock solid. Actually, I'll take that back. The receiving core is above rock solid. They're an amazing receiving core. Good running back room. Eagles just didn't miss a beat, and they're still going to be the team to beat out of the NFC. Oh, and what a mystery. The Kansas City Chiefs over at number 1. I'm sure you're very surprised. And the Chiefs are one of those teams, just kind of like how the Patriots used to be. It doesn't matter. They're not the best roster per se. They're still the best team. You got Mahomes leading them, just like when the Patriots had Brady leading them. Mahomes makes up so much what pushes them to number 1, because you know Mahomes is not fretting. It could be any given Sunday, Mahomes is going to show up and play a great game. When you know your QB has that, Chiefs fans have no fear. They know they're going to keep dominating the league. You got Chris Jones, future first ballot Hall of Famer, just clogging up the middle. Rashee Rice stepping in, new number 1 receiver potentially. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of speed on the receiving core. Travis Kelce's just going to come in and cook again. O-line group, still an amazing core. The rest of the D-line is maybe the only thing you could say that has holes in it, but regardless, it's still not a big hole in any area. So yeah, that's the Chiefs, man. The number 1 team in the league. All right, and that concludes today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it so much. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. We appreciate it so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.